We are here, folks. Hope everybody's happy out there. I am live in two places right now, and I'll tell you about that in 1 second. Let's get my comment pinned here. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. It is the weekend when I'm recording this. Whenever you happen to be watching this, it's all good. Let me just get my comment pinned here and make sure we're all on the same page. Shout out to everybody watching this on Facebook. It's Facebook/Work on Your Game. Any of you who's not following me on Facebook, you should, because I might start doing more of my lives on Facebook. And any of you who is not following me on Instagram, is Instagram/Dre Baldwin. If you're not following me there, you should, because I do more daily stuff on Instagram than I do on Facebook. Facebook, I might do more of the lives because I can do more with them when I'm done. But you should be following me on both platforms. You have a phone. I mean, it's not going to cost you anything extra to follow me on both platforms. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And Facebook owns Instagram anyway, so you might as well get your life integrated. Make sure you are following me. I'm going to get started in about 30 seconds. I'm going to give people a little bit of time to get in here, and then we'll get into it. But in my experience, usually people come in once I get into it, no matter how long I wait. So, hope everybody's having a good Saturday. Hope y'all had a good week. Good start to your month. It is, what's the day, the 14th? We're almost halfway through the month of May. So if you have not checked your goals for the month, make sure you check them. If you don't know what I'm talking about because you don't have goals, you already know what you need to do. You need to go backwards, and you need to actually set some goals. Start setting goals for yourself. Successful people all set goals, and they write them down. Unsuccessful people don't set goals, and they don't write them down. So you just ask yourself, which one are you, and which one do you want to be? Make sure you have goals. I don't care what they are, just have them. Anyway, for those of you who don't know me and those of you who do, I'm talking to two places here. Instagram's right here, Facebook's right here. My name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as Dre all day. I'm a former 9-year pro athlete. I'm the author of 31 books, including Work on Your Game, you see right there. The Third Day, you see right there. Mirror Motivation, which is right here. Overseas basketball books, which are right there. Work on Your Game System Manual, and a bunch of others. Author of 31 books, and created this whole framework platform. I've done 4 TED Talks also, and created this whole framework platform in business, this brand that is called Work on Your Game. It's all about taking the mental tools and the skills and the strategies that you need, that you can use to be successful as a professional athlete, and using those tools at work and in everyday life. That's what my brand is all about. And the 4 pillars that is based on for everyone out there, we start with mindset, then we go to strategy, accountability, and execution. If you're going to be successful in anything you do, your mind, you starts with the foundation of your mindset, then you need a strategy, then you got to make sure the strategy and you are being held accountable, and then you must execute. That is how you get to the outcomes. We're in performance in a results-based business. For those of you who don't know, all that said, what I want to talk about here today, I want to talk about 4 things that winners never do. You consider yourself a winner, or you are a successful person, or you want to win, you want to be a successful individual, I'm going to tell you 4 things that you should absolutely make sure you never, ever, ever do if you want to remain a winner. Shout out to Broadway Queen. Said you completed all your goals this month, then set more. Said thanks for the motivations in the morning, definitely. Shout out to everybody who is, and Mr. Michael Allen, what's going on? Shout out to everybody who's getting my daily motivation text. If you are not getting it, just text me at the number that you see in the comments. That on both platforms, y'all can see that comment. I don't know if I can pin a comment on Facebook. I don't think they let you pin a comment. Can you pin a comment? Yes, you can pin a comment. All right, just pin my comment on Facebook. So on the pinned comment on both of those, y'all can see that. Make sure you are checking that pinned comment and texting me so you get the daily motivation. And then you want to get deeper into my world, just get the daily motivation first, and then you'll find out about everything else later. You'll find out about it when you need to know about it. But we got to make sure you know what the deal is before we get any further into that. So let's talk today about 4 things that winners never do. 4 specific things winners never do. I'm going to tell you what they are. I'm going to tell you why winners never do this. And I'm going to probably tell you also what you can do to make sure you are not doing these things. Because these are things that can all kill your success. Patrick, I appreciate that. Thank you for the compliment. So now let's get right into it. And anybody got a question or comment, just post it in the comments while I'm talking, and I'll address all the comments, if there are any, on both platforms before I finish this live. And I will be putting this on YouTube as well. If you're on Facebook, you can watch the replay anytime. But on IG, it'll be on the IG Live, but I'm going to put it on Facebook too. So let's get right into it. Number 1 thing that winners never do. Number 1 thing winners never do. They never complain. Complaining is for losers. I'm going to take a sip of water so y'all can let that thought sink in. Complaining is for losers. Winners do not complain. Now, it doesn't mean that a person who's a winner in life cannot get annoyed. Doesn't mean you don't have bad days. Doesn't mean you don't have things happen that bother you. Doesn't mean you don't get into situations that you're like, all right, I don't like the way this thing is going. I don't like what this person is doing. I don't like how this situation is working out. Those things happen to everybody. But winners don't complain. If a winner finds himself in a complaining state of mind, you know what they do? First of all, what I give people is the 90-second rule. Anytime you find yourself complaining or whining or bitching about a situation, you get 90 seconds to complain mentally, internally to yourself about the situation. After that 90 seconds is up, you're not allowed to complain anymore. You take that same energy that you were using to be annoyed about the situation and you apply that energy to taking some kind of action to rectify or change the situation, to alter the circumstance. That's what winners do. They take that same energy that losers use to complain, and they take that same approach and they apply that energy, not approach, but energy. They apply that to approaching the situation and doing something about it. That's what successful people do. The only use of complaining is to generate energy to fight back against a situation that you don't want. That's the only reason why anybody complains. And even then, if you catch yourself complaining, you want to keep your complaining in-house. What I mean by keeping complaining in-house means you don't go on Instagram and complain about something that happened to you. What's Instagram going to do to change your situation? Nothing, except make you maybe look or feel like some kind of victim. But what is that actually going to do for you? It's not going to do anything for you except make you feel, I guess, you achieve martyrdom status. But what is that? Is that actually helping you achieve your outcomes in life? Is it helping you reach your goals? Probably not. So you don't broadcast your complaints to the world. Your complaints you keep in-house in your own mind, and then you apply the energy of that complaining, because all it is energy. Energy is never created nor destroyed. It's merely transferred from one object to another. You take that energy and you apply it to something that's actually going to help you get to where you want to go. Winners do not have perfect lives. People who win in life, their life is not perfect. They don't have everything working out for them, and it might seem like that from the outside looking in, but that's not the case. Winners have a mindset of despite, or a mindset of anyway. What does that mean? Yes, this thing is not working the way I wanted to, but despite that, I'm going to succeed anyway. Notice how I use both of those words in the same sentence. Despite the fact that this situation is not going the way that I wanted to go, I'm going to find a way to be successful anyway. That's the mindset of a winner. Not to complain, but to use the situation as a reason for achieving. What's the guy's name? Ryan Holiday has a book called The Obstacle is the Way. That's the exact thing that he's communicating. He wrote a whole book about it. I just did it in one sentence. Take the situation that you are looking at as a hindrance and you use that as the reason to become successful anyway. This is what successful people do. They take every situation that looks like a losing situation and they turn it into a winning situation. That's the mental alchemy that you undergo as a winner. Robert Greene, many of his books, if you read the 50th Law, the one he wrote with 50 Cent, read the 33 Strategies of War, you read the 48 Laws of Power, all of those books talk about this, taking what looks like a bad situation and turning it into a good situation. And remember that every situation in life is completely neutral. There's no such thing as a bad situation or a bad day. No such thing as a good situation or a good day. It's just situations. Situations are neutral. You decide what the situation is, good or bad, based on your actions and really based on your thought process and the way you choose to look at the situation. So number one thing winners never do is complain. Number two thing that winners never do in life, they never see themselves as victims. What is a victim? A victim is a person who has allowed the situation at hand to be stronger than they are. That's what a victim is. That's my definition of victim, is when you allow the situation to be stronger than you. Because things can happen to anybody, right? I'm not talking about victim like in the legal sense. So if you're driving your car and you stop at a red light and somebody just rams into the back of your car, technically you're the victim of a car accident. They did it. It's not your fault. But I'm not talking about that kind of victim, like the legal term victim. I'm talking about the mentality of being a victim. The mentality of being a victim is a person who has a situation happen that they don't want, and then they start feeling sorry for themselves. That's what I mean when I say victim. Winners never allow themselves to feel sorry about themselves or for their situation. Even if the situation was not your fault, even if you're not the reason that the situation occurred, even if the entire situation is because somebody or something else did something that they weren't supposed to do, you still do not allow yourself to look at yourself and your situation as a victim. That's what a winner does. This is mental strength. This is mental toughness. That's what this is all about. Episode 1524 of my Work on Your Game podcast. The topic is We are not victims. That could be anybody. You are not a victim. And you can choose to be one. You can choose not to be one. And all a victim is a person who has decided, keyword, decided to be weaker than their circumstances. You can make the choice to not be this at any time that you want in life. What I share, my brand, my business, this whole work on your game thing, I don't care if you get my text messages, you follow me on IG, you watch the live streams, you see me on YouTube, you listen to my podcast, you get my daily motivation, you read one of my books. Nowhere in this world do I ever advocate anybody being a victim. This world, this work on your game world is not for victims. So if you see yourself as a victim in any way, shape, or form, I don't care if it's your age, your race, your gender, your nationality, your sexual orientation, whatever other phrase they come out with, if you see yourself as a victim based on any of those descriptions, this is not for you. This world right here and this person right here is not for you if you see yourself as a victim. I want to make sure I'm being clear on that, because not only do I want to bring in the right people to my world, I want to exclude the wrong people. So if you ever see yourself as a victim for any reason, get out. This is not the place for you. Do not be on unfollow me, unsubscribe, unlike, whatever you did to come here. Don't come back. This is not for you until or unless you're ready to change. This show is not for victims. I ain't mad at you for being a victim, but the message that I share is not going to get across to you. It's kind of like if you only speak English and I'm speaking Chinese, you're not going to get the message. So this is absolutely will not be for you. The only time it's okay to be a victim. There's one time in life it's okay to be a victim. All right, that's when you're dead. All right, so if you die, if somebody just runs up to you and shoots you in the head and you die, all right, you could be a victim of a gunshot and a murder victim. That's the only time you could be a victim, because the reason why that's okay is because you can't do anything about it. All right, the only time it's okay to be a victim is when you can't do anything about what happened to you. And the only time you can't do something about what happened to you is if you're dead, because you can't do anything when you're dead. As far as we know, the current science, when you die, you can't come back. That's as far as we know. All right, now if somebody knows something I don't know, you let me know. But anything other than that, as long as you have the capacity to think, you could do something about your situation, because one thing you can always do about any circumstance in life is you can change the way you think about it. So even if you you're riding your bike and some drunk driver hits you off your bike and you get paralyzed, you can't even run anymore, you still have the ability to think, right? And because you can think, you can change the way you think about the situation, even if you can't physically do anything about the situation. You might be in a wheelchair the rest of your life, but you can change the way you think about that situation. All right, so as long as you can think, you don't ever have to be a victim. Now again, if you're dead, you can't think, you can't move, you can't talk, you can't do anything. That person can be a victim. Every dead person you know, if something bad happened to them, for them to die, they can be a victim. Everybody else, you got to take ownership of your situation. Everybody follow me so far? All right, only dead people can be victims. Otherwise, you can always control your thoughts. So that's number 2, is never see yourself as a victim. Number 3, we are talking 4 things winners never do in life. Winners never expect to lose. Now, that's why they're winners. And some of you may have heard this saying, I believe it was Vince Lombardi, the legendary football coach from back in the day. He gets credited with saying, winning is a habit, and unfortunately, so is losing. Winning is a habit, and losing is a habit. Understand that being a winner and being a loser are not necessarily about you always having a lead on the scoreboard. All right, you think of your favorite athlete or your favorite sports team, they don't win every single game. Michael Jordan didn't win every game. LeBron doesn't win every game. LeBron didn't even make the playoffs this year. Tom Brady doesn't win every single game. The best performers don't necessarily, win every single time out. And the worst for the losers, they don't necessarily lose every single time. The difference between the winner and the loser is in their minds and the expectation. What do they expect of themselves? When they wake up every single day and you go out into the world, you show up at work. I don't care if you work at an office, at a desk. I don't care if you're a maintenance man, a school teacher, a librarian, a pro football player, whatever, an entrepreneur. The winners show up with the mentality of, I am going to succeed today. They expect to succeed. And you know what happens when you expect something, folks? You take actions around that expectation that will get you closer to actually making it real. That's what successful people do in life. They expect to win, and they take actions that get them closer to meeting their own expectations. And you know what losers do in life? They expect to lose, and they take actions that get them closer to meeting their expectations. This is why winning is a habit, and this is why losing is a habit. And this is why, any of you ever heard the saying, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer? Y'all know why that is? It's because people who have the mindset of being rich take actions to get them closer to being or staying rich. And you know what poor people do? They have a mindset of being poor. So you know what they do? They take actions to get them closer to or keep them in the state of being poor. That's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So any of you ever read any articles where, politicians, they're always talking about tax the rich and, this person shouldn't have this much money and it doesn't make sense that these people don't have a living wage and these many people are homeless in this town, and the gap between the people who have and the people who don't keeps getting bigger. You know why this gap keeps getting bigger? This has nothing to do with who the president is or who you voted for or the tax code or whatever happened with a virus or the prices of housing. None of that. You know why the gap between the people who have and the people who don't have keeps getting wider? Because the people who have keep thinking in the same mindset that got them to have stuff in the first place, and the people who have nothing, they keep thinking in the same mindset that got them to be broke and poor in the first place. So they go further down, and the people who have stuff go further up. This is why rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Winners expect to win, and they take winning actions, and they have winning habits, even if they don't win every time. Again, you could think of your favorite athlete. Most of them don't win every time. The only athletes that can win every time their whole career would be like wrestlers and boxers. Everybody else, you play football, you play basketball, baseball, hockey, all of them lose games all the time. But they're winners. The winners in those sports are the people who show up expecting to win. Entrepreneurs. Any of you who've been in the game long enough, you've had plenty of products, services, ideas, launches, courses that just did not work. I've had plenty of products and courses and stuff that I put out as an entrepreneur that simply didn't work. All right, people just didn't want it. I thought they would want it. They didn't want it. It didn't work. I got rid of it. I did the next one and the next one and the next one. Winners do things to get them closer to winning. Doesn't mean they win every time, but they expect to win. Losers do things to get them closer to losing. And sometimes they'll even win by luck. But because of their expectations, in the long run, they lose. In life, in the long run of life, you always get what you expect. Whatever your expectations are for yourself, that's what you end up with in your life. So I want everybody who's listening to me right now, look at your life right now and every area that matters to you. And what you're going to see is a reflection of your long-term expectations. When it comes to your business, your career, your relationships, your finances, your fitness, your health, your everything, you are seeing right now today is a reflection of all your expectations up to this moment. And where you are at the end of this year, at the end of 2022, is going to be a reflection of all your expectations up to the end of this year. If you want to change any area of your life, the number one thing you must do is change your expectations of yourself. When you change your expectations, the next thing you're going to do is change the actions around those expectations. Then when you change the actions around the expectations, the next thing that happens is you actually get different results. What did I just explain to you? Be, do, have. This is the 3-step formula to succeeding in life. Change how you think, change what you do, then change your results. In that order. The problem for many people is they follow it in the wrong order. They try to just start doing stuff without getting the being part down. They try to start doing things, so you skip the step, and that's why it doesn't work. This is why so many people are saying, I get texts every single day. I got a text number. Y'all see my number right there. I get texts every single day. Look, let me show you my open text right now. This is all my open text right now. See those blue dots? That's people who text me. I didn't respond back to them yet. I'm going to respond back to them. When I get off this live, I'm going to respond to all of these texts. Every day I get people texting me, telling me about all the stuff that they're doing, but it's not getting them the results they want. Usually they're not getting the results they want because they haven't got the be part down. They start doing stuff, but they didn't get the being part down. They didn't get the mindsets, the expectations. They didn't get this part down yet. When you get this part right, then you do the stuff, then you get the results. Many people never get that right, and that's why they don't succeed in life. In this book, I have a section where I talk about the be, do, have principle. So if you do not have this book, go to workonyourgamebook.com. It's the name of the book and then the word book. Workonyourgamebook.com. It's a hardcover book. It's $25. Get yourself a copy of this book. It's one of the best investments you can make in your life. My whole framework is laid out in this book. So make sure you go get yourself a copy of this book and stop playing around with your success in life. So number 3 thing that winners do not do in life, they do not expect to lose. Number 4, we're talking the 4 things that winners never do in life. Number 4, winners do not entertain or associate with losers, victims, and defeated people. This is a tough one right here. This is a challenging one for a lot of people, what I'm telling y'all right here. Shout out to everybody who's getting my text. Pocono Pam, I see you. This is the law of association. What does the law of association say, folks? Everybody knows it, right? The law of association says you become the average of the people you spend the most time with. It doesn't have to be 5 people. It could be 1 person. It could be 20. It could be 300 people. And it don't even have to be people that you know. You can associate with somebody just by watching their live streams every day, or getting their texts, or reading their books, or watching their YouTube, or listening to their podcast. Whoever you want to follow, a lot of y'all probably spend more time listening to certain people on the internet than you do actually talking to real live humans. Those are your associations. Your association is whatever you are consuming and being influenced by on a day-to-day basis. Whoever you associate with the most, you are becoming those people. So if any of you never heard this before, and many of you probably have heard it, but you need to be reminded, if you hang around a bunch of broke people, you're on your way to being broke. Or you're already broke and you're going to stay broke. You hang around a bunch of people who got money, you're on your way to having money, or you're going to keep having money. This is the way it works. You hang around winners, you're going to be a winner. You hang around losers, you're going to be a loser. So guess what winners never do? I know this as a fact. I don't even have to know anybody to be able to tell you this. Winners are winners because they don't hang around losers. I'm going to take a sip of water so y'all can let that one sink in. One reason winners are winners, because they don't hang around losers. If a winner starts hanging around losers, very soon they will no longer be a winner. Why? Because the association of the losers is going to pull them down faster than the winner can pull the losers up. That's the way that it works. And losers are losers because they're hanging around other losers. If you put a loser in a room around a whole bunch of winners and make them stay in that room and keep hanging around those winners, that loser is eventually going to start doing winning things, because the association of the winners is going to start changing the mindset of that loser, and that loser is going to start doing winning things. They're going to get winning mindset first of all, then they're going to start doing winning things, actions, then they're going to start getting winning results. This is the way that it works in life. This applies to everyone and everything. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, how old you are, what you do for a living. If you hang around, whoever you hang around, you become. If you want to make more money, you need to be hanging around people who have more money than you. If you want to get in shape, you need to hang around people who are in better shape than you. If you want to be smarter, start hanging around people who are smarter than you. If you want to get better at public speaking, hang around people who are better at public speaking than you are. And here's the thing. Here's the great thing about the internet, is that you don't have to know these people in person. You don't ever have to meet them. If you want to get better at any subject, go find somebody on the internet who's already good at it and just start consuming everything they ever put out. Just by consuming it, if you just listen to them every single day and read them every single day and watch them every single day, they become one of your associations, and whatever they do and however they talk and whatever they're thinking about is going to start rubbing off on you. All right, think about this. All y'all listen to music, right? Think about the musicians that you've been listening to your whole life. You probably can recite their songs without even having the song playing, right? You know the words to the song. Sometimes you even think in lyrics. Like, I know I do. I've been listening to music, rap music my whole life. My parents listened to rap music when I was a kid. So I could recite whole songs and albums without even listening to the song. You could say a word and I could think of a rap that goes to that song. Why? Because of association. I associated with it so much that it got ingrained in me. It's the same thing that happens to you when you read books, when you listen to podcasts, when you watch YouTube videos, when you're reading blog posts. Now, the question is, for all of you, what are you consuming? What are you consuming on a daily basis? Because everybody got one of these, right? All right, everybody watching this has one of these. All right, what are you doing with this on a day-to-day basis? What's in your email inbox? Who's texting you? What are you watching? If I went to your YouTube and looked at your viewing history, what am I going to see? Am I going to see winning habits, or am I going to see you consuming a whole bunch of bullshit? What are you listening to on your Spotify, your Apple Music? Are you reading books? If I go into your Kindle or your iBooks, when's the last time you actually opened it and read a book? What's the last blog post that you read? When's the last audio book that you listened to? How many podcasts do you listen to? What are you listening to? What are you consuming? What are you reading? What are you watching? Who are you being influenced by on a day-to-day basis? And are they bringing you up, or are they pulling you down? And understand, it is one or the other. There is no neutral in the universe. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. You build or you destroy. There is no neutral. You cannot stay the same. That's impossible. Everybody heard that? You cannot stay the same. You are either getting better or you are getting worse. Winning people, winners, associate with other winners. Losers associate with other losers. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So the question is, what are you doing? Who are you associating with? And if you don't like your associations in some area of your life, what are you doing about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to stay in that same situation and just let it pull you down? It's kind of like you're watching yourself about to go over the edge of the waterfall. You're not going to do nothing about it. You're not going to try to swim and get out of there. Or are you going to do something about it and change the situation? All that said, let me recap these 4 things that I told you winners never do. If somebody got a question or a comment, go ahead and post it. I'll address it right now. 4 things winners never do. 4 things. Number 1, never complain. Number 2, don't see yourself as a victim. Number 3, never expect to lose. And number 4, you do not entertain losers, victims, and defeated people by the law of association. If anybody got a question, go ahead and post it in the comment section. I'll address it right now. I don't see any questions on Facebook. Let me see if I got any on IG. Shout out to everybody who was watching this on IG. Shout out to everybody who set goals this month and you hit them. Broadway Queen. Oh, you got the book too. Shout out to everybody who has the book. I got a bunch of books. So shout out to everybody who has any one of my books. If you don't have all of them, get the next one. If you need to know what the next book is, send me a DM or text me. Best Fake Dreams. What's going on? Appreciate you. Who else we got in here? Always Training said we need a whole book on this. I could do a whole book just on this subject. I could write 100 more books. I got enough material for it. I just don't. It's not the main thing that I'm doing right now. But I might get around to it. We'll see. We'll see how much time I got. Brandon said Meek Mill is a perfect example. A rapper uses pain as motivation. Yeah, I know he has songs about that. Yes. So hopefully he's actually doing it. I don't know how he lives his daily life, but I know he raps about it. Hopefully he's talking about stuff he's really doing. Best Fake Dream said you taking notes. Shout out to everybody who takes notes on these. Pocono, yes, I do respond to text messages. Shout out to everybody who's texting. Hang around to connect, you might become one. That's a fact. Let's see. Best Fake Dream says, besides hanging around winners, what makes you a winner? Well, just do the opposite of everything that I said here. I told you 4 things winners never do. So don't complain. Don't see yourself as a victim. Look at yourself as a victor instead of a victim. Do things that expect you to win, and then hang around winners. So just do those 4 things right there. That's a good start. And the 5th thing you can do is listen to the Work on Your Game Masterclass, which comes out every single day on all platforms. So look up Work on Your Game. Go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Play, Overcast. Just look up Work on Your Game or look up my name, Dre Baldwin. You'll see my podcast. It's a daily show. We got over, what episode did we come out with today? So today's episode was episode number 2191, How to Stop Fooling Yourself When You Are the Easiest Person to Fool. So this is what my podcast looks like. Any of y'all don't know, look it up. That's me. And it says Work on Your Game. So any of you don't know what it looks like, it looks just like that. Look up my show on Apple, Spotify. This is Apple Podcast. So it's also on Spotify, it's on SoundCloud, all of that. So make sure you go look up that's the other thing that you can do. Best Fake Dreams, to answer your question. And you're going to get a lot of game from me just in that. Brandon says, I'm technically an actor now. I auditioned in Miami for a TV commercial. You got discovered in January. Oh, that's what's up. Shout out to you. Congratulations. Albino said Dre with the new fit. Yes. I don't think I ever wore this on a live. I've wore it before in my life, but I don't think people seen it on a live. So, yeah, shout out to people who pointed that out. All right, so I addressed everything here. So I'll tell everybody the next step for all of you. 2 things. Number 1, get my daily motivation text at that number right there, 305-384-6894. And number 2, Work on Your Game podcast. Look it up, Apple, Spotify, Google Play. I'll put the link to it. If you go to this link right here, workonyourgamepodcast.com, that's where you'll get the links to everything that's right there on that page. So on that page is the link to all the platforms. So whether you like Apple, Spotify, Overcast, SoundCloud, wherever you like to listen to the show, all the links to the show are right there on that page, workonyourgamepodcast.com. All right, everybody, Saturday afternoon, set your goals. Start thinking about your goals for next month. We already almost halfway through this month. So if you haven't hit all your goals for this month, check yourself and set your goals for this week, how you're going to get closer to those goals, and then start thinking about your goals for June. And yes, June is coming up. We're only a couple weeks away. So let's stay on top of ourselves. Not on anybody else. Stay on top of ourselves and let's stay focused. Everybody have a great afternoon. I will be putting this up on YouTube as well. Work on your game. Dre all day.